Hello, I'm Gareth Jones. Welcome to our Huddersfield Town matchday preview. Looking ahead to Saturday's game in the Championship away at Middlesbrough. A game you'll hear exclusive commentary on with our dedicated Town show on Saturday from 2 o'clock on 774am and DAB Digital Radio. Paul Ogden, the man to my left, being joined by Catherine Hanna and the former Town player Nathan Clark this week for that game. Confidence really high, Oggy, after that great win against Watford. Does that change our expectations when watching Huddersfield Town going into a game like Middlesbrough now? Should we be expecting more from this team?
I think it would be a bit unrealistic and unreasonable to expect that kind of quality that they delivered against Watford every single week, Gaz, but it certainly reassures us all that Chris Powell is getting to the players. He's transmitting his messages and his information to them, and they certainly applied the science that he's trying to instill against a really good quality Watford team. Middlesbrough are in the same bracket. They will produce similar challenges with the speed of movement and technical ability. They've also got the stingiest defence by a mile in the Championship. 17 goals conceded in 25 matches by Middlesbrough. That's very admirable. And somehow Town have got to get a way past them. But to see Nahki Wells and James Vaughan moving like they did, understanding each other like they did, Nahki Wells holding the ball up like he did last week, really makes me look forward to this match.
There was no Jonathan Hogg last week, yet another system change that really worked. Hogg's available again this week, so what do you think he'll do with the team?
Well, I feel a little bit sorry for Oscar Goben because he's not had much match practice, but I do think he'll make way for Jonathan Hogg just because Chris Powell relies on Hogg so much. He selects him if he can, and that trio of midfielders, Jacob Butterfield, a former Middlesbrough player as well, included, I think they'll be relied on again to try and stop the mobility and the creativity of Middlesbrough's midfield. There might be chances yet for Oscar Goben, but I expect to see him on the bench again.
Butterfield's really stood out for me as one of the best players this season. I think they might have got the best end of that swap deal with Middlesbrough, with Clayton going the other way. We are seeing Town get people out as they've wanted to for a while, which is really good news, reducing that squad, reducing the wage bill, which has been a big target of theirs. But players aren't still coming in yet. Powell's told us he is frustrated in that area. Should we be frustrated connected with Town for that yet, or worried about they're not bringing people in yet?
I think the only concern, Gaz, and Chris Powell will share this with us, is perish the thought what would be available to him if any of his dead cert selections were to, let's not tempt fate, catch the flu or miss the bus. He is developing a real relationship with the players he prefers from his existing squad, and that's what he's supposed to do, according to the board. That's why he was hired, to motivate the existing players. He was never given a promise of a big checkbook to throw around in the January transfer market. But once he has shown the board and the fans signs that he can deliver with an existing squad that's already expensive, remember, then in summer things might be different. He might yet have some luck with a reasonable, realistic deal in the transfer market. But unless and until one of those becomes available, I don't expect any big names to come in. I'm certainly convinced that they were monitoring Connor Salmon's availability, Alex Ravel's availability, and there are many other players we could list. But those players have gone now because probably prices were unrealistic, and Huddersfield Town have got their own. I'm not writing off the possibility of maybe a youngster from the Premier League coming in before the end of the transfer window, but I think Chris Powell is basically being asked to go with what he's got.
So as always this season, so much to debate with Huddersfield Town, and we'll be doing all of that in our dedicated Town show on Saturday from 2 o'clock, including exclusive commentary of the Huddersfield match away at Middlesbrough. 774am and DAB Digital Radio is where you'll find Oggy, Nathan Clark and Catherine Hanna, as I say, 2 o'clock on Saturday.